Happy Groundhog Day. It's February 2nd, 2017, that day when Punxsutawney Phil emerges from his burrow, and if he sees his shadow, it's going to be 6 more weeks of winter. If he doesn't see his shadow, it's an early spring. This is an awfully long way from Pennsylvania here in the desert Southwest, but I still follow the proceedings out in Pennsylvania because Groundhog Day has been a personal celebration of mine for a long time. A lot of people don't know that Groundhog Day, which we apparently got from Germany, German settlers in Pennsylvania, is closely associated with the Christian festival of Candlemas, which is the midpoint of winter, and it is the celebration, a Christian festival celebrating the presentation of Jesus at the temple 40 days after his birth. You see, Groundhog Day occurs, or Candlemas occurs 40 days after Christmas Day. And this is what the Illustrated World Encyclopedia tells us about today. I love these old encyclopedias. This one, Illustrated World Encyclopedia, dates back to about the 1960s or so. And before we had the internet, we had encyclopedias. Of course, the content of encyclopedias is static, but still you can go back a lot of these old books and find information sometimes that isn't that common anymore, because information that used to be commonly known sometimes disappears or is ignored, or people see it differently. So, but I'll never forget too, when I was in school and I learned that, I think it was when I first started learning about research papers, that we could not use encyclopedias as sources for research papers. And that made me so mad, because when I was younger, I was an encyclopedia reader. I would open up these books and just read and read and read about a variety of subjects. So I've always been curious about a lot of things. And one of the things that I'm curious about are holidays and their origin. So this is what the Illustrated World Encyclopedia has to say about Groundhog Day, or Candlemas, the Christian festival from which Groundhog Day sort of springs, or at least is closely associated with. Candlemas is a very old church holiday, always held on the second day of February. It is celebrated by the lighting of candles. Many hundreds of years ago, soon after Jesus was born, his mother, the Virgin Mary, took him to the temple in Jerusalem. And of course that was 40 days after his birth, the date for ritual purification in the Jewish religion. There, in Jerusalem, a very devout man named Simeon said that Jesus was to become a light to lighten the Gentiles. The lighting of candles, the Candlemas ceremony, is held in honor of this event and also honors the Virgin Mary. On this day, too, the Roman Catholics bless all the candles that they will use in church services throughout the year. An old legend says that the groundhog, in parentheses woodchuck, first comes out of its burrow in which he slept through the winter on Candlemas Day, February 2nd. If the sun is shining and the groundhog sees his shadow, it will be 6 more weeks of winter. But if he does not see his shadow, it means an early spring. And I'd sure like to have an early spring here in the desert Southwest. Spring and fall are among the most beautiful times that we have in the Southwest. So I check in with Punxsutawney Phil every year to see what he says about whether it's going to be an early spring or not, because it is truly an enjoyable time of the year. In the desert Southwest, temperatures are very moderate. It's a very pleasant time to be outside, and you also have that in the fall. Of course, winters here are milder most of the time than they are in a lot of places. Of course, in early 2016, I believe, well, it's been quite some time ago now, I can't remember exactly when it was, but we had a snowstorm that actually shut down the area around El Paso. And although Pennsylvania is an awfully long way away from here, I still observe Groundhog Day, because that's been a tradition with me that's gone back a long, long time, and I can't even remember when it started. I've never been to Pennsylvania, where Punxsutawney Phil lives, Maybe I'll go there one day, but if I ever go to Pennsylvania, one place that I want to see is Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. So here we are, February 2nd. It's the middle of winter. It's the sort of post-holiday doldrums. The last really big celebration was New Year's, and that was something less than 40 days ago, about 32 days ago, more or less. And that was also a birthday for me. But now we're kind of in the winter doldrums. It's the midway point of winter, and it's still some time before spring gets here. And so I adopted many years ago this celebration of Groundhog Day. Hell, it ain't nothing but something to do in the middle of winter. You know, I wish actually that we could make this one of our company holiday days, Groundhog Days, although I'm not sure how we could explain that one to clients. We're already going to try to schedule around Good Friday and St. Patrick's Day, and you know, that in itself may be a little bit of a task, and I'd love to add Groundhog Day to that, but I don't know, that might be taking it a little bit too far. But my annual observance of Groundhog Day involves getting up to watch the Weather Channel broadcast from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and that happens really early in the morning out here. You know, once you get to El Paso County, from there westward is Mountain Standard Time. So I think it's usually about 5:30 in the morning. So I'll get up and watch that Weather Channel broadcast of what happens with the groundhog in Pennsylvania. And then typically it's a normal work day, Groundhog Day is, because it's during the week. And so that'll be a normal work day. But then when I get home, my observance of Groundhog Day consists of parched peanuts and homemade fudge brownies, consumption of those things. And don't ask me how that got started. It's just a real old tradition that I participated in for a very long time. Parched peanuts and fudge brownies on Groundhog Day. That's just something you do. And then, of course, since the 1990s, watching the 1993 movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. And you can typically find that on all day on Groundhog Day. AMC this year is going to run nothing but the movie Groundhog Day from starting early in the morning until late at night. And it's also going to be on the Reels cable channel and a local independent TV station and some other places. And I can sort of identify with the weatherman played by Bill Murray in that movie. Have you ever messed up a day so bad that you wish you could just do that day over and over again until you got it right? Well, I think that actually I have experienced such days, and it would, in some sense, welcome the opportunity to do that day over and over again until I got it right. I don't know, after a certain number of those times I might get so frustrated with it that I'd try to kill myself like Bill Murray did in Groundhog Day, but I've always enjoyed that movie. And when you watch the movie, which I think it was actually filmed in Indiana or some strange place like that, not Pennsylvania, but you get the sense when you watch this Groundhog Day celebration in this town that the town is just capitalizing on this legend in a big way, and they're just having this huge celebration in the middle of winter just for the fact of, you know, just to be having a celebration basically. And so I sort of do that with Groundhog Day here. You know, I have my viewing of the Groundhog Day ceremony in Pennsylvania early in the morning before work, and then I'll come home, and then it's consumption after dinner, of course, of brownies and parched peanuts while watching the movie Groundhog Day. And that's a way to celebrate the winter and celebrate the anticipation of spring, whether it is 6 weeks away or not. And why not add some celebrations? Why not have extra celebrations in your life? Hell, it ain't nothing but something to do. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, maybe that'll give you an idea for a new tradition just to start, just for the hell of it. So, happy Groundhog Day, and I hope that your springtime, whenever it gets here, is a wonderful springtime this year.